going on, y'all? I want to chat today about this Kanye West disaster, talk about this thing from a biblical standpoint, and I want to cover a few things as what us as Christians should do in response to this Kanye West scandal, tragedy that's going on right now. First off, I would say I appreciate if you guys would like and subscribe. It means a ton for us to be able to get the gospel out to more people. I don't make money off of any of this stuff, so there's no gain that I personally get from it. I don't need some golden play button or something like that. I just want people to know Jesus. So if you would do that, I'd much appreciate it. But anyways, let's get into this. So obviously Kanye has been hot in the news lately, but he's really been hot in the news for the past, holy cow, decade, right? He had his first claim to following Jesus about whenever the ultralight beam came out. And then ever since then, he's had these like ups and downs with claiming to be a Christian and then maybe not living like a Christian or whatnot. And I want you to consider a few things in regards to Kanye and take what I'm about to say to Kanye with a lot of people in the Christian space as well as the influencer space in general. When somebody like them has asked for but gotten their name in the lights, they have been forced to be publicized with everything they do, which can be a really cool thing when it's good for the gospel's sake. But anytime that something negative happens, it's obviously a horrible thing because there's nothing but negative that goes around about it. What we find is most of the times in our Christian spaces, we care way more about hearing negative news and critical news and gossip and bad things that happen in people's lives than good things. If I were to say that, Kanye has been consistent and steady in his following of the Lord, and I titled the video that, nobody would watch the video because nobody cares, which is sad. But if I say that Kanye's had a huge scandal come out and there's something really bad that happened, everybody wants to watch and is on the edge of their seats to hear what happened, to get the latest juice and the latest, the latest hot topics of what happened. And the news is the exact same way because they knew that their watchers and their viewers are going to want to hear those kinds of things, which is heartbreaking that Christians would even care about gossip like that since Jesus was put on a cross because of that kind of gossip. So we as Christians, first thing I want you to consider about somebody who has their name in the limelight all the time. First off, they need to be given grace for the fact that you don't know what's real and what's not. TMZ, CNN, Fox News, ABC, CNBC, these places don't really care about the truth. All of them, again, that's not a political statement. None of them care about the truth. There is dollar bills behind every decision that they're making, and they're going to do what sells. This is why actually, in the early 2000s or the 90s or the early 2000s, they ended up coming out with a news channel, a news anchor, and it did nothing but share positive news. And I think it went out of business in less than 2 years because no one cared about hearing the good news. They only wanted to hear the bad stuff that was negative, critical, and that nobody wanted to hear about, or that everybody wanted to hear about because it was horrible. Fast forward to today, obviously nothing's changed. There's nothing new under the sun. And people only want to hear the negative and critical news. So that's the only thing that's going to sell. So that's the only thing that's going to be promoted by the government, by big business, etc. So first off, not everything that you hear is going to be necessarily legit. Second off, I think this is a great opportunity to bring awareness to mental illness. He's openly claimed to struggle with mental illness and to have hurts and wrestles and back and forths. And there needs to be a level of grace given to somebody who has mental illness because you don't know what he's going through. And unless you've experienced it, for you to just incompassionately light him up because of being an idiot or, not being, always mentally stable is unfair. That'd be like asking somebody who has cancer to not act like they have cancer and to act stronger, like physically stronger, even though they're super weak from chemo. You know one would ever do that. So why would you do that to somebody with mental illness? The only difference is something mental that causes mental and can cause physical wrestles in somebody's life. So it's really counterintuitive to and hypocritical for people to criticize somebody on every decision they make with mental illness. Now, again, that's not to justify any actions. That's not to say sin is okay or God just doesn't care about sin because somebody has mental illness. If everybody wanted to play that card, people would be, getting away. Finally, last point I want to make on the topic is people with not mental illness. People like Kanye are probably what he would even consider himself to be a new convert, somebody who's freshly saved. And here's what I want to challenge you with as a Christian. How perfect was your walk with Jesus when you were a new Christian? Remember, Kanye doesn't call himself a Christian rapper. He is not in the limelight as somebody who is promoting Christianity from a follow the way that I live kind of standpoint. He's trying to push people to Jesus, and he is zealous without accordance to knowledge, like most of the church today is. The only difference is he's had less time in his, opportunity to grow in his walk with Jesus, but he still reads the Bible. At least last time I, heard in an interview, he reads his Bible every day, which is, again, greater than most of the church does. So I want you to consider Jesus says, to whatever measure you judge another, by that you're going to be judged yourself. Consider your criticism and bashing of somebody like him or people who are in similar spaces as him. Consider your condemnation of people like that and think about if you've done any of those things yourself or if you've acted out of line yourself, because Jesus says that he's going to judge you by the same measure that you judge the people around you. Consider that as well. Lastly, it's the last point I'll close with. I have no idea what happened with Kanye. I've heard things that were said, and I have no idea what happened to Kanye or with Kanye. I don't know what's going on, and I don't really care what's going on. And I hope this is kind of slightly convicting proof that you're watching a video just to hear the beans spilled about somebody. I don't even know what's going on, but I knew it would catch people's attention and people would watch because they want to know what the latest scoop is on the whole Kanye rave. I think that this is something we should really check our hearts in and say, are we doing this because we want to see the kingdom of God brought to heaven or earth as it is in heaven and Jesus glorified? Or are we doing what we're doing right now because we're just trying to get the latest scoop and we're not, like, who did you preach the gospel to today? But you're trying to learn the latest scoop of bad news on somebody. I think we should really consider our motives as Christians with a lot of the things that we're doing here. So I know it's kind of a hard truth. Appreciate you all. I love you all. I'm not here to condemn any of you. I want you guys to look more like Jesus every single day of your life. But I want to expose some things that I feel like a lot of other YouTubers aren't talking about. So again, if you would like, subscribe. I just want to get the gospel out to as many people as possible. And I'll chat with you guys in the next one.